Yes! The Minions films have so many Easter eggs, which are far-fetched jokes in the background. Surely there must be a dozen times you watched it, but I can assure you some wonderful details just slipped your attention, from secret villain school connections to blink and you miss it jokes. We have 19 mind-blowing surprises waiting for you. Before we dive in, what's your favorite Minion moment? Share it in the comments. Gru's car in Despicable Me 4 bears a small but genius Easter egg hidden seemingly in plain. The car's license plate reads DM9710. To the naked eye, it would seem like a random assortment of letters and numbers. It stands for Despicable Me, while the 9710 subtly hints at the original movie release date of July 9th, 2010, 07/09/10. They even gave a birthday gift to their franchise by putting it right on Gru's car. How cool must these animators be, slipping in these details, knowing most would never even get to see them? An ultimate inside joke, but now that you know, you cannot unsee it. Next time you watch it, hit pause to appreciate that little detail love note to the fans who have been with Gru and his banana-loving mayhem since day one. I wonder what the Minions' license plates would say, something like banana or ta 1, 2, 3, because their driving skills are, let's just say, a little questionable. In Despicable Me 4, the character Jean Khaloud is a playful nod to the legendary action star Jean-Claude Van Damme. The name itself is a clear reference, swapping letters around to create a fun, Minion-style twist on the martial arts icon's name. Jean Khaloud's mannerisms and movements in the film also mimic Van Damme's signature fighting style, known for his high-flying kicks and intense action sequences. Whether it's a dramatic slow-motion kick or an over-the-top battle stance, the character embodies the essence of classic Van Damme films. This reference adds another layer of humor for fans who recognize the tribute, blending action movie nostalgia with the Minions' signature comedy. It's a clever Easter egg that fits perfectly into the franchise's tradition of sneaking in pop culture references, making Despicable Me 4 even more entertaining for audiences of all ages. Gru, Poppy, Gru Jr., and the Minions made an exciting run through the villain school, dodging flying gadgets and narrowly escaping the furious villain school principal as a massive banner loomed overhead, boldly declaring, "Think evil, act worse." This was what Hanger said shamelessly above his head. Think evil, act worse. It wasn't for mere decoration. The phrase stood to spell out the exact insanity that went on below. Gru? Yet another of the greatest escapes. Poppy? She just kicks a booty. You'd think she's born to do so. Gru Jr.? Probably snickering somehow and somewhere amongst the chaos. And the Minions? As ever, the harbingers of more mayhem at an already nuts getaway. It is, in fact, the slyest reference to evil villain catchphrases. Think "Be Prepared" from Scar, the villain from Disney's The Lion King, or "Do What Must Be Done" from Emperor Palpatine in Star Wars. The writers enjoyed themselves with this number, for at a school wherein laser dodging constitutes pop quiz items, you can believe that the curriculum is extra evil. So next time you watch, keep an eye out. One never knows what kind of other villainous wisdom is already out in the open. In Despicable Me 4, a surprisingly emotional moment unfolds at the Anti-Villain League, AVL headquarters, when a Minion experiences an unexpected heartbreak. At first, he walks beside a female AVL agent, beaming with joy, as if he truly believes they share a special bond. Whether it's a crush or just his overly enthusiastic personality, he seems completely smitten. But as the film progresses, reality hits hard. Later, the same agent returns, only this time she's accompanied by another man. The Minion's reaction is heart-wrenching, yet oddly adorable. His wide, hopeful eyes instantly dim, his shoulders slump, and his entire demeanor shifts from excitement to quiet despair. The moment plays out subtly in the background, yet it carries surprising weight, adding a layer of emotional depth to the typically goofy and energetic Minions. This small but meaningful detail showcases the Minions' ability to feel real emotions, making them more relatable than ever. While they are usually portrayed as chaotic, banana-obsessed troublemakers, this scene reminds us that even they aren't immune to heartbreak. It's a clever touch that adds richness to their characters, making audiences connect with them in an unexpected way. For a film packed with humor, moments like these remind us why the Despicable Me series is so beloved. It balances slapstick comedy with genuine heart. It's easy to miss, but a framed photo in the office of the villain school principal reveals quite a secret. It turns out that Dr. Nefario was a student at this school. Once, he was the evil, aspiring lad who learned all mischiefs before he became Gru's right-hand man and the mastermind behind all these will-robbing inventions. Hello, fart gun, and freeze ray! That little detail adds an entire dimension to the character of Dr. Nefario. From this fact, it becomes clear why he was quick to jump to an evil pact with Gru. He embodies the training for villainy. But then, did he always dream of becoming an evil genius? Or was he just some kid in class with contraptions making things unsafe and driving all his teachers crazy? Then, it might also be a little clever reference to the franchise's world building. This would mean that the villain school has been preparing future criminals for generations, and Dr. Nefario was one of their brightest stars. Maybe that's why the principal still has his picture on the wall. Maybe out of pride or as a warning. Either way, it's a fun little Easter egg for longtime fans to appreciate. The Minions movies are packed with clever references, and one of the most unexpected nods is to Pet Rock, a quirky 1970s fad. Created in 1975 by Gary Dahl, the Pet Rock was a smooth stone sold as a low-maintenance pet, complete with googly eyes and a tiny box. In Minions, The Rise of Gru, a rock with googly eyes makes a brief appearance, likely as a playful reference to this nostalgic toy. The Minions, known for their love of strange and simple objects, treat the rock with admiration, much like how real pet rocks were once marketed as cherished companions. This hidden detail is a fun nod to pop culture history, blending the real-world craze of the 70s with the Minions' love for all things silly. Whether intentional or not, it fits perfectly with their chaotic and childlike sense of humor. With her wheelchair's turbo mode activated, the seemingly harmless old lady transformed into an unstoppable force of chaos. She didn't just move, she tore through everything in her path like a wrecking ball on wheels. Sparks flew, walls crumbled, and anything unfortunate enough to be in her way was instantly reduced to rubble. The intruders barely had time to react as she zoomed past them at breakneck speed, leaving behind a trail of destruction that would make even the most notorious villains proud. But amidst all the mayhem, there was one tiny background detail that made the scene even more hilarious: an unusual construction sign. While most of the audience was focused on the wild action unfolding in front of them, this little sight gag was quietly waiting for sharp-eyed viewers to notice it. It's these kinds of hidden jokes that make Despicable Me worth watching again and again. The beauty of the film's humor lies in its unpredictability. You never know when the next clever sight gag or sneaky joke will pop up. One moment, it's an over-the-top action sequence. The next, it's a blink and you'll miss it visual pun. So next time you watch, keep your eyes peeled, because sometimes even the smallest details can lead to the biggest laughs. What's the wildest Easter egg you've ever spotted in a movie? Drop it in the comments below! There's a blink and you miss it moment in Despicable Me 4 that pays tribute to what might very well be the best superhero scene ever: Spider-Man's heroic train rescue in Spider-Man 2, 2004. When it becomes clear that a train is on the verge of not just going out of control, but off the track as well, you can count on a Mega Minion stretching its overgrown arms in a futile attempt to stop the speeding locomotive. Sound familiar? Should this moment be a direct nod towards Peter Parker's legendary moment? Naturally, being a Minion, things don't pan out quite as smoothly. There's this pretty hilarious Mega Minion struggling with its rubbery limbs, wobbling under pressure, instead of the amazing display of strength and responsibility it was supposed to present. The train doesn't exactly stop all that gracefully either. There's a lot more mayhem and carnage, not to mention classic Minion-style slapstick involved. and just another clever reference from the Despicable Me franchise for sneaking in pop culture Easter eggs for fans to catch. If you're a superhero nerd or simply revel in a fantastic gag, this encounter sees the best of action, comedy, and nostalgia mixed. Keep your eyes peeled next time around. Who knows how threadbare a monster this tribute might even be to your favorite movies? The supermarket chase scene in Despicable Me 4 contains an action-laden sequence that seems all too familiar to fans of classic action films. The characters darting past narrow aisles, skirting obstacles, and creating absolute havoc seem to be closely modeled on the magnificent motorcycle chase in Terminator 2: Judgment Day 1991, where the relentless T-1000 hunts for the young John Connor. In the film Terminator 2, John Connor is hunted with a cold determination by T-1000, Robert Patrick, weaving through traffic and defeating wreckage. This was also the description for Despicable Me 4, when the villain and the protagonist are engaged in an exaggerated, thrilling chase, which bore similarities to the traditional scene, except that the mood is now set for comic mayhem, courtesy of the Minions. Some striking parallels can be found in the tracking of the movements in the camera, as well as in the movements themselves, which match up with the tense, frenetic tracking of Terminator 2. Deliberate or not, it's a fun way for the animators to pay tribute to one of the greatest chase scenes of all time in movie history. Fewer explosions, more bananas. Subscribe now, or a minion will steal your favorite snack. Don't risk it. In Despicable Me, Gru's grand heist involves stealing the Queen's crown, a bold move that solidifies his status as a top-tier villain. But after all the action, where does the crown actually end up? If you look closely in later scenes, you'll see it sitting proudly on a minion's head. This tiny but hilarious detail perfectly sums up the minion's love for mischief. While Gru is busy executing his elaborate villainous plans, his little yellow henchmen are more concerned with playing dress-up. Whether it's fancy costumes, stolen gadgets, or even priceless royal artifacts, the minions will find a way to turn anything into a fun accessory. They don't care about power or wealth, just looking fabulous and having a good time. It's a blink and you'll miss it moment, but it adds to the chaotic charm of the minions. Even after pulling off a high-stakes heist, they treat the Queen's crown like just another toy. Honestly, if they had been in charge of the entire operation, they probably would have stolen the crown just for dress-up time. This little Easter egg is another example of how Despicable Me rewards sharp-eyed viewers with hidden gems of pure, delightful absurdity. Minions may be experts in causing chaos, but when it comes to hitting the gym, they're completely out of their league. In Despicable Me 4, a hilarious background moment shows two minions attempting to work out and failing miserably. One determined minion grabs onto a pull-up bar, ready to prove his strength. He pulls with all his might, but immediately gives up, dropping back down with a defeated sigh. No second attempt, no perseverance, just instant regret. Meanwhile, another minion is struggling with dumbbells. He manages to lift one side, but the other stays firmly planted on the ground, causing him to tilt sideways in confusion. These tiny blink-and-you-miss-it details are classic examples of the minions' lovable incompetence. While Gru and the AVL team are busy saving the day, these little guys are struggling with basic fitness. It's a funny reminder that not all minions are built for action. Some are just built for comic relief. So next time you feel like skipping the gym, just remember that at least you're doing better than these guys. And let's be honest, if Minions had a workout routine, it would probably involve lifting bananas instead of weights. In one hilariously unexpected moment, a royal guard is caught trying to sneak a kiss from a tourist posing for a picture with him. Normally, royal guards are known for their strict discipline and unwavering seriousness, but this one moment shatters that image, creating a humorous contrast. Just as the tourist remains oblivious to the guard's antics, the audience gets a rare glimpse of the mischief happening behind the stoic exterior. Meanwhile, in the background, pure minion chaos unfolds. One particularly unlucky minion struggles with his own bizarre predicament. He's desperately trying to grow his leg to chase after the Queen's carriage. But instead of helping him run faster, his stretched out limb only creates more problems, turning his pursuit into a slapstick disaster. The poor little guy wobbles and stumbles, completely overwhelmed by his own stretching powers. This brief yet hilarious sequence perfectly encapsulates the Despicable Me franchise's ability to blend different layers of humor. Whether it's a disciplined royal guard breaking the rules for a sneaky smooch or a minion failing spectacularly at something as simple as running, the film constantly delivers unexpected laughs. It's a great example of how even the smallest background details in Despicable Me are packed with comedic brilliance, rewarding sharp-eyed viewers with hidden gems of pure absurdity. The unlucky kid from Despicable Me just can't catch a break. In the first movie, Gru casually strolls past him, pops his red balloon, and walks away without a second thought. The poor kid is left standing there, devastated. It's a small, almost throwaway moment, but it perfectly captures Gru's early villainous personality and the mischievous humor of the film. Fast forward to Despicable Me 2, and this poor kid is back, still crying. During the Stuff-A-Bear scene, he watches in horror as an overly enthusiastic store worker overfills a teddy bear until it bursts like a plush grenade. Fluff flies everywhere, and while it's meant to be a funny visual gag, the real gut punch is the kid's reaction. His eyes widen, his lip quivers, and just like before, he bursts into tears. The trauma continues. At this point, you have to wonder, does the Despicable Me universe have something against this child? First, his beloved balloon is snatched away, and now a teddy bear explodes right in front of him. What's next? A minion knocking his ice cream into the street? A unicorn plushie vanishing into thin air? Someone needs to give this kid a break, and maybe a lifetime supply of unpoppable balloons. It's a small detail, but one that adds to the running gag-style humor of the series. Maybe Despicable Me 4 will finally give this kid a win. But let's not get our hopes up. In Despicable Me, there's a clever nod to one of history's greatest achievements, the 1969 moon landing. When Gru steals the moon, several small details link back to the real-world Apollo 11 mission. One of the most touching references is the childhood ticket Gru keeps as a memento. It's for a visit to NASA, hinting at his lifelong fascination with space. This small but meaningful detail adds depth to Gru's character, showing that his dream of reaching the moon started long before his villainous days. Another subtle reference appears when the news covers Gru's shrink ray test. The ticker message on the broadcast mentions a hoax, playfully referencing long-standing conspiracy theories about the moon landing. It's a cheeky Easter egg that fits perfectly with the film's humor, acknowledging real-world debates while keeping things lighthearted. Even the minions get in on the space-themed fun. When they assist in the moon heist, their spacesuits resemble classic Apollo gear, further reinforcing the connection to NASA's historic mission. These small but clever details reward sharp-eyed viewers, proving that Despicable Me is packed with hidden gems that make each rewatch even more enjoyable. In Despicable Me 4, there's a quirky and hilarious scene where the minions undergo some bizarre experiments in the AVL command center. These experiments transform them into a replica of the Fantastic Four superheroes. One minion becomes Mr. Fantastic with stretching abilities, another turns into the Thing with a rocky, indestructible body, while another adopts the fiery powers of the Human Torch. The last one, a minion with the power of invisibility, represents the Invisible Woman. This playful nod to the iconic Fantastic Four adds a comic touch to the already chaotic and wacky world of the Minions. Each of these minions takes on the powers and characteristics of their superhero counterparts in a silly, exaggerated way, stretching, glowing with fiery energy, or turning into a boulder-like form. Of course, their powers are far from perfect, leading to some hilarious mishaps and moments of utter confusion. This scene not only pays homage to superhero culture, but also showcases the Minions' ability to mimic and parody well-known pop culture icons, making the moment all the more entertaining. It's another example of how the Minions movies love sneaking in clever references and hilarious moments for both kids and adults to enjoy. In Despicable Me 4, the character Margot, one of the 3 adorable daughters of Gru, wears a variety of shirts that cleverly reference other movies produced by Illumination Entertainment. These references are not only a fun Easter egg for fans, but they also show a playful connection between the various films under the Illumination umbrella. One of the shirts Margot wears features a design based on the Lorax, a popular animated movie adapted from Dr. Seuss's book. The shirt subtly nods to the environmental themes of the Lorax, reinforcing the playful, cheeky nature of the Despicable Me world. Another shirt Margot sports is inspired by The Grinch, another holiday classic from Illumination. With the Grinch's iconic face on her shirt, this moment offers fans a fun callback to the film, connecting the universe of Illumination films even further. In addition to these movie references, one of Margot's shirts features a real-world brand that collaborated with Illumination on merchandise or promotions, adding a layer of real-world humor to the mix. These little touches serve as a delightful tribute to the studio's range of work, while making the characters' everyday lives feel even more connected to the wider Illumination world. Keep your eyes peeled next time you watch, as Margot's wardrobe is packed with these fun references. In Despicable Me 4, a new character named Poppy adds an intriguing touch to the world of villainy. As an avid fan of villainy, Poppy's treehouse serves as a mini museum of sorts, filled with dolls and memorabilia of past villains from the Despicable Me universe. Among her collection are figures of the notorious Vicious Six, the villainous group that Gru faced in Minions: The Rise of Gru. These action figures capture the essence of each member of the group, including the likes of the fierce Vengeance and the sinister Jean-Claude. However, Poppy's collection doesn't stop there. She also holds a doll of the infamous Balthazar Brat, the over-the-top 80s-inspired villain from Despicable Me 3. Balthazar's doll is a playful nod to his larger-than-life personality and his role as one of Gru's most memorable adversaries. The inclusion of these dolls in Poppy's treehouse is a fun and subtle reference to the franchise's long history of eccentric villains, and it shows how deeply the world of villainy has impacted even the younger generation. Poppy's collection also suggests that she has an admiration for the darker side of life, adding a unique depth to her character as she interacts with the Minions and Gru throughout the film. Keep an eye out for this adorable yet mischievous new character. Minions may all look the same at first glance: tiny, yellow, chaotic, and occasionally wearing goggles. But if you look closely, you'll notice that Bob is rocking a rare genetic feature that sets him apart. That's right, Bob has heterochromia iridium, a fancy way of saying his eyes are 2 different colors. His left eye is brown, while his right eye is green. It's a tiny detail, but it's one of the coolest hidden gems in the Despicable Me universe. What makes this even sneakier is that you don't really get to notice Bob's unique eyes until the end credits of Despicable Me 2. It's like Illumination was playing a game of Where's Waldo, but with Minions' eyeballs. And let's be real, considering how fast-paced and wild these movies are, most of us were too busy laughing at the Minions' nonsense to even pay attention to something like eye color. But once you spot it, it's impossible to ignore. This little detail makes Bob even more special. It's no wonder he became such a fan favorite and eventually got his own spotlight in Minions 2015. It also raises a big question. Are all Minions identical, or do they each have tiny differences we just haven't noticed yet? Maybe there's a Minion with freckles. Maybe one has a scar from a banana-related accident. The possibilities are endless. Either way, Bob's heterochromia is just another example of how much thought goes into these movies. The animators could have made all the Minions exactly the same, but instead, they gave Bob a unique trait that makes him stand out. So next time you see Bob, don't just focus on his adorable antics. Take a second to appreciate his stylishly mismatched eyes. Which of these details surprised you the most? Before heading to the comments, check out our next video for more interesting details about your favorite cartoon.